DIY Detail Incredible Suds Shampoo T1 and T2, or version 1 and version 2. Which one is which? Can you tell the difference? More importantly, are the formula changes enough for you guys to be able to tell the difference? Well, that's what you're going to find out in this video. So what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So I'm reviewing the newly updated Formula Incredible Suds T2, as they call it, or Type 2. It's basically the second version or update of the Incredible Suds shampoo. We're going to talk about, first of all, which one is which? Can you tell a difference? The way to differentiate is in the back of the label. The new one will have this T2 marking in the back. But beyond that, is it just letters or is it anything else? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And of course, we're going to do a demo. You're going to see it used in a foam cannon. You're going to see it used in a wash bucket. I'm going to give you my thoughts, my opinions. By the way, don't worry, I'm going to leave the links to all of this stuff in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So DIY Detail sent me this for me to be able to test. However, this video is not paid for. Nobody paid for this video. This is not a sponsored video, but I'm going to give you my honest feedback and opinion. The first thing that you're going to notice. So this is V1, by the way. If we're looking at the label, so it's this different color compared to V2. If you look at the label of the V2, or the T2 as they call it, is kind of a darker purple. The rest of the formula, the liquid itself, is the same color if we're looking in there. So it's this deep purple. It has that same great grape scent, which is fantastic if you like that. But my biggest gripe with the first version, I had given Ivan and Nick my feedback on it, is it was too thick. So it was a great shampoo, worked super well. I had it in one of my 15 car shampoos battle video, and it did extremely well, value for money as well. The T2, by the way, at the moment of this video, of filming this video in September of 2025, pricing is just around $18 USD for 16 ounce and 85 USD for a full gallon. So the price per ounce is just over $1 US for the 16 ounce, and that drops to right 67 cents US for when you're getting the gallon size. So obviously if you get the gallon, you're saving more money. The price decreases in the cost per ounce. And it's also the cost per use, because you're only using about an ounce of this in your foam cannon, and you're only using half an ounce to about an ounce. That's the cool part of this in your wash bucket. So very highly concentrated, up to 1,000 to 1 dilution ratio. And we're going to see if you're still getting the lubrication. So T1 was a little too thick, and meaning that it was a bit harder to dissolve when you would put it in your foam cannon or in your wash bucket. It was very goopy. So I don't know if you guys can tell, if I'm putting it all the way down, it's kind of that syrupy molasses, and it sticks to the side there, right? So what I noticed immediately with the new formula, and that's one thing that they worked on, is the consistency. So it's a little runnier now. Not that it's fully easily dissolvable. It's still going to need a bit of shaking to make sure, but at least you can tell how more liquid it is. That's pretty obvious. And then when you're doing this and you're letting it drop, it falls down quicker in the bottle, right? So let's see how that looks like inside two containers. So I'm going to have measuring cups. Let's measure an ounce. So this is the V1, so you guys can see. Let's put an ounce of this inside the measuring cup. Can you guys see how that pours in? Very thick, right? So if we're swirling it around inside the cup, you can tell how it likes to stick on the sides there, right? So that was V1. And you had a lot of shaking to do when you'd put it in your foam cannon, or you'd have to use your pressure washer correctly in the wash bucket to get that to dissolve correctly. Now, if we do the same thing with the V2, and by the way, yeah, that smell, that scent is super good. So again, grapes for those who love that. So it fits the color. So let's take our measuring cup and let's pour that in. So as you guys can tell, very, very quick to pour. So it's still thicker than average, obviously, because that's the formulation there. But if we swish it around and we look at it compared to V1, it falls down a little quicker in there. You see how lighter that is? So is it a night and day difference? No, but now at least it's more manageable. And we're going to see just how manageable this is, because we are going to put it in a foam cannon. So here I have roughly 950 milliliters of water inside the Quiver foam cannon. I absolutely love this foam cannon. Bang for buck. It's very hard to beat at its price point. It's like 65 USD. It's basically an MJJC foam cannon Pro V2. Less expensive, same quality, so you're getting crazy, crazy foam. So this is the V2 now. We're going to pour this inside the foam cannon container. And of course, you're going to see it in action. Let me show you there so you guys can see. So let's pour that in there. And before, it used to clump up in the bottom. So if we're shaking it there, so you see this is what's left into. There's a lot less than what you'd have normally with the V1. And then if we're looking at the bottom of the container here, there's still a little bit of that. However, the cool thing with this updated formula now is it is much quicker to dissolve. So let's put that in there. And then when you're shaking it around, I just have regular cold water in there and boom, that's it. Now it mixed up. I don't see any clumps in the bottom anymore. So you can do a few ups and downs and twirl it around, and then it gets fully dissolved in there. So they did a great job with that. So there's only 1 ounce of the shampoo in there, or roughly 30 milliliters. So that's not a lot. And it's filled with water up to the 1 liter line here for the MJJC, or should I say Quiver foam cannon. Fantastic value for money. So we're going to see how it foams on to the vehicle. I'm not going to use the deionizer, by the way. All the steps that you see even in the videos, I never turn the deionizer on. I only use it for the final rinse when I need that on vehicles. But my water is 178 ppm in the house, so it's considered hard water. Anything over 150 ppm is hard water. So we're going to see how it performs. They made sure that the instructions are on point and corrected. So add half an ounce to about an ounce for hand washing in your bucket. So that's up to 1,000 to 1 dilution ratio if you're using just half an ounce in your 15 liters or 4 gallons of water in your 5-gallon wash bucket. And for the foam cannon, they say to fill it up with 970 mils of water, and then you add just an ounce or 30 milliliters of the shampoo, and you should get great suds. So we're going to test that, right? You're still going to get great cleaning power, just like V1 had. This, by the way, is a pH 8.5, so a little higher up on the pH scale, but it's still safe on waxes, sealants, and ceramic coatings. Absolutely no problem there, but just so you know. And another cool thing they sent is the Incredible Wash Mitt. So this is their new wash mitt that they have for DIY detail, and they made this in partnership with the House of Rags. That's why you see powered by the House of Rags. So this is version 2 of the microfibers that were sourced, right? This is the new factory of the House of Rags. So it's the same wash mitt as my Clean by Pan, the Organizer wash mitt, 100% South Korea. So it's the same because they partnered up with the House of Rags for their wash mitt as well. You're just getting a different colorway. So they're the same style microfiber, very plush, very soft, it'll glide. You're getting that great cuff. You have their logo here, just like you have my logo there. So very, very high quality. You put that in your hand, whether you have small hands or big hands like mine, no issue. And you get that very, very plush. Look at that. If you guys haven't tested those wash mitts yet, you absolutely have to, but great job. So I know you're dying to see the demo, so we're going to foam it on. We're also going to dilute it in the wash bucket. So let me measure. They said half an ounce to an ounce. So let me measure another ounce here, and we're going to drop that in the wash bucket. So there you go. We have an ounce in the measuring cup. We're going to put that in the wash bucket, see how that mixes. I'm curious to see the lubrication, the kind of suds we're going to get, and the overall experience, and then come back for the final thoughts and see if it's actually an upgrade in the formula compared to their V1. All right, so we have an ounce of the soap. Now you can see how that's in there in the bucket. You can rinse off whatever's left inside. So not too bad. There's not that much left in the cup. And then let's activate the suds with the pressure washer. So plenty of beautiful suds. Oh yeah, great lubrication. And then if you dunk the wash mitt in there, look at that. Some nice frothy soap. So let's start with foam cannon and then move to the bucket wash. So here we have the brand new Quiver pressure washer shotgun, and of course the Quiver foam cannon. It just clicks in. I love this adapter, and very, very nice. So we're going to see how it goes. It's set on maximum foam production. Keep in mind, we have 950 mils of water here roughly, and 30 milliliters or 1 ounce of the shampoo. And then let's see how it foams on the vehicle. Guys, this is ridiculous, right? From just an ounce, we can see how thick that is. Let me bring you in for a close-up. So this is the consistency of the foam. And this is just an ounce in the foam can, and look at that. This is shaving cream-like texture. So look at this here. Pull that. Great lubrication. And of course that shaving cream effect. Let's do that again here. Look at that. Let's go on the other side so you guys can see how it foams on from this perspective. Yeah, I don't think you need more foam. This is actually ridiculous. Look at that. And good cling on too, right? See how it clings onto the surface? And this is my ceramic coated vehicle. So I foamed the entire car. This is how much is left. That's probably what, 100 to 200 mils in the container. All right, so it's been a few minutes. We're ready to start rinsing off. We're gonna have a look at how easily it rinses off. That's very important for me. I don't want any soapy residue left. Of course, I'm testing the new AR630 V2 pressure washer, 2.3 gallons per minute of water output. So more than plenty enough output. And again, so we're gonna connect our wand now to the pressure washer gun here. You just click it in and you're good to go. So let me bring you in closer and let's have a look at the rinse off. So I don't know if you guys were observing, but we have that secondary surfactant layer, which I really like, similar to what I have on the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. We can see that secondary surfactant that clings on and you get that top layer. So watch when we're rinsing off, that top part rinses and then that secondary factor or that secondary layer rinses off. See that, how that did that? So very, very easy to rinse off, as you guys saw. On here, I remind you, it's been over a year now. I have the C6 Hydro ceramic coating on the vehicle. So obviously the contact wash is gonna help further unclog that lower portion. And we're gonna see just how good of a job the shampoo does in the bucket. All right, now it's time for the bucket wash. So let me give you my impressions using their wash mitt. And how good the lubrication is, and it just glides. Obviously the mitt is so good that this really helps with the experience. So again, I have the same quality microfiber wash mitt in the Clean by Pan lineup. So this is a different colorway on that, powered by the House of Rags, but I can tell very highly lubricious from the soap. This just glides. Is it a huge improvement over V1 as far as lubrication is concerned? V1 was already very good with lubrication. So unless you do a side-by-side comparison, I don't know if you guys would notice, but I never had any issues with lubrication. So I know they're just bumping that up a notch, but definitely this is top tier. So would it rank in the 2025 Car Detailing Products Awards? Well, this was too new for that. I had no chance to test it for the awards, but is it going to make next year's awards? That's what we're going to find out next year as I get more seat time with this. But from my testing right now, I mean, a shampoo is pretty quite obvious to know if it has that lubrication. It seems to have that cleaning power. The coating is rejecting the soap there, so that's doing its job. We're gonna have a look at the lower portions of the panels here to see if this is enough, thanks to pH 8.5, to remove that road film and restore the hydrophobic properties. So let me zoom you in for the door portion so we can have a look at that. Okay, so let's have a look at the state of the hydrophobics on the door. So you can see that we get good beading up top, more sheeting characteristics in the bottom. Again, that doesn't mean that the coating is dead. It just accumulated grime and road film over the time. So all you have to do, usually with a good shampoo, same with the Clean by Pan, the organizer shampoo, with its strong degreasing capabilities, is to clean the surface, and that should bring back the hydrophobics. So let's do this here. And if you do a good effective pre-wash like we did, there should be no grit left on the surface. So all you're doing here right now is removing that film or residue. So we can tell that the coating is fighting off the soap. Let's see on the rinse off now where we're at. And there we go. Now we have beading all over the place. Sheeting has accelerated in the bottom. We're getting the restored hydrophobics. So good degreasing capabilities from the DIY Detail Incredible Suds T2 shampoo. So great job. Yeah, the lubrication. You can tell there is thought put into the formulations. This just glides on that surface. It makes washing so fun. You can just flip the mitt and then continue with another section. This is not a car wash tutorial, obviously. You know me, you wash from top to bottom, straight line motions type thing. Here we're just doing a quick wash to be able to demo the soap and its characteristics. So very, very easy rinse off, and it's fun because I get to compare different coatings in the same conditions. So in our Montreal, Canada weather, so on this vehicle, the C6 Hydro, on my girlfriend's vehicle, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer 3-year, on my brother's vehicle, in an upcoming video, depending on when you're watching this one, if it's not already on the channel, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer 8-year coating. So the Clean by Pan coatings, you guys know how good those are. Still running like day one on my girlfriend's car. It's been on there for a year at this point because we're in September 2025 now. And if you haven't seen the video, check it out. It's been through a Canadian brutal winter, all 4 seasons, stays outside in the elements pretty much all the time, and is just amazing. And on my brother's vehicle, fully neglected. He never washes it, and it's doing stellar. So I'm truly proud. Check those videos out for all the updates. If you guys have tried it, let me know. But as far as this shampoo is concerned, it rinses off freely. Lubrication is there, super concentrated, so you're not using a lot. Let me show you in the bucket now that we did roughly half the vehicle what the suds situation looks like. So this is the state of the suds in the bucket. They're still there, so it hasn't collapsed, and we're still getting that nice sudsy mixture. All that lubrication, just some great, great stuff. All right, guys, to further amplify the difference in consistency and how easily T2 is more easy to dilute compared to T1, let's have this version 1. So we had 1 ounce in the bottom of each one. I emptied both out. I swirled around in there. So there's just a little bit left in there, and you can see the sidewalls are a bit coated. So let's rinse that off using cold water. So still sudsy, we still have some stuff in there. Continue. Still sudsy. Still some stuff in the bottom. 2, 3. We still have some stuff in there. You guys can tell we're at like 4 to 5 rinses now. So it is still bubbling. And now we're getting to a point where there's almost nothing left. So many, many rinses. Let's have a look with T2. So that's what's left in the bottom. You can tell how runnier this is. So we empty it out. Still a little bit, but much better than T2. And then again, just a little bit. We're already much cleaner compared to the version 1. So 3, look at that. Almost nothing left. That's how easier it was to dilute. With version 1, we still had a lot left, right? So bubbles, pretty much all gone now. And look at that, now we have it clean. So way easier to dilute, less clumpy, less goopy compared to version 1. So yeah, I think that proves it. So what are my thoughts on the DIY Incredible Suds car shampoo, but the Type 2 or T2 updated formula? First of all, what were your thoughts and observations watching the video? Drop comments in the comment section, let me know. They did a great job. Definitely an improvement compared to V1. So slightly runnier consistency, which makes it easier to dilute. That was my biggest pet peeve with V1. So I had given them feedback. I'm glad that they took that into consideration. I'm sure many of you guys also gave that feedback. So great job on that. Much easier to dilute. They kept the same great scent. They didn't increase the price. It has that same degreasing capability. Very, very good to wash your car with, yet still safe on all the exterior surfaces. It has that pH 8.5, so a little more bite. It's still in the neutral-ish range, right? Even though it's not a 7.0 on the dot. That doesn't really matter, by the way. I have a video on that. pH is just one type of measure. It doesn't say much about the degreasing or cleaning capabilities or how safe a product is on the surface, but this one definitely is safe. They don't use any PFAS or forever chemicals in there, so I truly appreciate that. And yeah, just a great overall experience. The scent, again, my garage is filled with that grape scent. It smells great. And the foam cannon, very impressive, very thick foam, more than you'll ever need, really. I could probably have foamed the vehicle with half an ounce of this in the foam cannon instead of 1 ounce. So like 15 milliliters instead of 30 milliliters, and I'm sure it would have still been fine. A little more runnier, which is also fine. More foam doesn't mean more cleaning power. It's just a visual bliss, right? So it doesn't affect cleaning power. Lubrication in the wash bucket, absolutely amazing. The concentration too, only 1 ounce in 4 gallons of water or 15 liters. And you can actually cut it down to up to half an ounce, which means 15 milliliters instead of 30 milliliters if you want to, for a 1 to 1,000-ish dilution ratio, according to what they mention here in the back. So that is very highly concentrated, which means the cost per use is very, very low. If you're only using half an ounce in your bucket per wash, that's like couple pennies. If you're using just 1 ounce out of the 16-ounce bottle, that's just over $1. If you have the $85 gallon size, 128 ounces, you're at like 67 cents per ounce used. So again, pennies on the dime if you're using this to wash your vehicle, and you're getting the awesome overall experience. So they delivered on their promises of the updated formula, and I'm happy to see that. So highly, highly recommended, by the way. I'll leave the links to all this stuff, including the wash mitt, the quiver foam cannon, the wash gun, and all that kind of stuff in the description under the video for you guys to check all of that out. And now the question is, how good is it? Will it make the 2026 PAN, the Organizer Detailing Products Awards? We're going to see next year, depending on how it does during the year, because the competition is fierce. But so far, so good. I'm looking forward to testing this even more in the months to come. If you haven't seen the 2025 awards, go check them out. I picked the top 3 winners of every product category, according to my opinion, my tastes, my experience, and all that through the past year. And we can tell it's never been a better time to be in detailing than right now, because we have so many good brands, so many good products out there. Go out there, enjoy. DIY Detail share the same passion as me, meaning that they just want you guys to enjoy washing your car, support the brands that you appreciate, that teach you things, that give you tutorials, and help guide you through this endless sea of products. Hopefully my videos help you make some smart purchasing decisions, because that's directly correlated to your budget and the money that you make at the end of the day is very important. You have other stuff to do and care for your family and stuff. So detailing, it might be a passion, but you don't want to waste money by trying bad products from bad brands. So hopefully my videos help well, shed the light on all of that and help guide you in making proper product selections. So thumbs up, Nick and Ivan over at DIY Detail. Great job. Incredible Suds T2 or version 2. Fantastic product. Check it out. Links in the description. And in the meantime, guys, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.